What is up, everyone? Welcome to the Football Chatbox. My name is Ryan, and welcome to the Game Week 31 Wildcard Draft. Hope you are all doing well. We just received also confirmation about double Game Week 33 being confirmed. Arsenal, Aston Villa, Crystal Palace, and Manchester City will all double in 33, and that means they would all blank in Game Week. So because of that, as well as a result of that. So that is information that we already knew, which means 36 should be depending on potentially which teams progress to the FA Cup finals between Forest, Aston Villa, um, Manchester City, and obviously Crystal Palace. So based on that, we'll know what the teams will look like in Game Week 36 and what the blank will look like in Game Week 37 as well. In the meantime, Nottingham Forest, their fixture will not move and will remain in Game Week 34. So we've got that confirmation as well, which is good to know. Now, based on this information that we've got, this is the draft that I currently have. And I'm going to show you a few players that I'm still kind of toying with. Now, for those of you who are chasing ranks like me, for example, this was the Game Week 30 wildcard template basically. This is the top 10k most owned players in wildcards, which will probably be the same similar set of players like top 100k, even top 200, 300 might look very similar to this. Where you have Rea, Areola, Guardiola, Munoz, Gabriel, Livramento, Dan Burn, Salah, Ismail Sarr, Murphy, Saka, Palmer, Isak Marmush, and Mateta. Now, if you're chasing rank, I can't really go as template as this, like, and expect to try and gain rank. It's just not going to work. So I need to kind of go slightly different in some positions. Now, I won't be able to go fully different as well, because then you're just like, that's a bit too extreme as well, because all of these players are in there for a reason, because they're actually pretty good. Now, in terms of goalkeepers, first of all, they've gone Rea and Areola. Now, I did have Rea and Areola as goalkeeper options, but now I've considered maybe punting on Edison. And hear me out. My reasoning being, yes, now I've got a bench boost as well. That's one of the key reasons that I'm looking at this, because I'm looking to bench boost in 33. Now, West Ham have Southampton, which is probably one of the better fixtures for West Ham to keep a clean sheet. But if I'm going, and that's the same thing that everyone else is going to be bench boosting with. Now, I would like to try something different with Ederson in goal. Now, Everton and Aston Villa, I mean, City could potentially get a clean sheet against Everton. It's not that they probably wouldn't. There is a possibility they could, which means anything against Aston Villa, if let's say Ederson matches Areola in the Everton game, anything against Aston Villa is just a bonus in terms of points. So that is one of the reasons I've thought of double goalkeepers. Yes, it takes a lot of budget in terms of expensive options, but because Gabriel has gone injured and is rumored to be out for at least a month from the looks of it, that actually frees up some cash. So I've gone Kivio instead. So if you go back to the template, you got Guardiola, Munoz, Gabriel, Livramento, and Dan Burn. Now, Gabriel is obviously injured. I don't know what the Game Week 30 wildcarders are going to do. If you're a Game Week 30 wildcarder, let me know in the comments what you're going to do. I think most of them will potentially hold on to Gabriel till at least Game Week 33 before making a decision on whether he's back fit or not, and then deciding whether to remove him or keep him. Now, if Gabriel is back for 32, then I'm kind of screwed because Kivio is not going to be playing. But I kind of will take that risk to see whether, if Gabriel will be available. Like, let's assume Gabriel will be out for a month, which means he'll most likely miss 32 and 33 as well. So let's take a punt on that. So I've got Munoz and Guardiola, which the template had, but I've gone Trippier instead of Dan Burn and Livramento. Now, there are some concerns of over Trippier and Isak as well, so slight knocks and niggles. So we kind of have to monitor that and see what Eddie Howe is going to say. Not like he might say anything true as well, to be honest, in the press conference, but we kind of have to monitor it and see. And I've gone Kivio, obviously, like I said, because of the Gabriel injury. And I've gone Patrick Dogu. Now, this fifth choice defender is a bit more of a hard one, because Wan-Bissaka is an option. Patrick Dogo is an option. Even Dalot could be an option because you want someone who has a good fixture come game week 33 if you're bench boosting. So I look at game week 33 fixtures. Bournemouth don't really have an easy one. Brentford, no. Brighton, no. Chelsea, not really. Everton, no. Fulham, no. Ipswich, no. Leicester, no. Liverpool, I mean, could go for Konate, to be honest, if I really wanted to. That is actually a pretty decent option if I wanted to. If we knew Connor Bradley was fit, maybe, but that's a bit too risky because you never know. Kwanzaa could play there. Someone else could play there as well in right back. So um, that might be slightly risky. Konate might be the way to go for that one if I wanted to. City, obviously, I've got. Man United is Patrick Dogu. Newcastle, I've already have. Forest, I've actually considered Forest. I've considered between Murillo or Milenkovic. Now, obviously, Olaena went off injured as well. We don't know what the status of that is. Williams is an option for a cheaper price tag as well if I really wanted. But yeah, I mean, Forest, the only thing is it's Spurs at home, and I mean, Spurs could get a goal against Forest. I did consider Forest slightly because they have a really good end of season run. Like they got Brentford, Leicester, West Ham, good games to play a Forest defender in. And also, let's say they beat Man City in the semi-finals of the FA Cup, which is possible. Then they would double instead of Manchester City, which means Leicester and West Ham as a double. Very tempting. You might be a player ahead as well with Forest. So I've thought about that as well potentially, but I feel like Patrick Dogo might have slightly more attacking threat. And then obviously the other one is Wan-Bissaka from West Ham. So I went and had a look at attacking defenders. Now in terms of XGI, this is last 4 game weeks. Patrick Dogo is up there in second, which is pretty nice to see. In terms, he's mainly an XA merchant, I would say, over XG compared to third in terms of XA. In terms of XG, he is a bit more lower in terms of XG because he's mainly an assist threat player. But if I was to look, Konate is slightly higher there, but I don't treat Konate as a set piece threat for Liverpool. It's mainly Van Dijk that you treat it. And then there aren't really any Forest players in here as well, and no Wan-Bissaka as well that I was looking at. In terms of chances created, obviously Pedro Porro is on top. Dalot is higher, but because Dalot has played more games as well, Dogo is just only back from suspension and whatnot. And big chances created, obviously, as well. He won't appear on that because of the lack of games. Actually, one big chance created compared to some of the others who have created 2. So yeah, so I mean, he looks like a prospect as a differential player, 5th choice just for the bench boost. I could play him in a couple of games like post game week 35 as well. Like I could potentially play him in 36 against West Ham if I wanted to. Even 35 against Brentford won't be the worst case scenario. But it's mainly the 33 fixture that I'm looking. Let me know if who you're going for the 5th choice defender. There are a few options. I could go with Aston Villa defense, but I wanted to go with triple Aston Villa attack, which is why I don't have an Aston Villa defender. Plus, I don't believe they're going to keep a clean sheet, to be honest, in 33. So hence why no Aston Villa defense. So yeah, maybe Konate, Patrick Dogu, maybe Murillo or Milenkovic from Forest. Or even Wan-Bissaka, although not feeling the Wan-Bissaka one that much. And I'm willing to hedge against West Ham and hope that Southampton can get a goal in 33 potentially. Now, midfield is a bit more template, you would say. Salah, Rashford, Saka, Murphy, Ismail, Sarr. You've got Salah, Ismail, Sarr, Murphy, Saka. I've got 4 out of the 5. Palmer is most likely going to become an Aston Villa player. Most likely Morgan Rogers potentially. But I've gone for Rashford. Now, Rashford got subbed at the 65th minute in the game, so I'm expecting him to start in game week 31. I don't think he'll play this. I don't think he'll start in Europe. He's most likely going to come off the bench in Europe, which means 31. If he can start, that means and he gets benched, let's say, in the Champions League and comes off the bench in the Champions League. In 32 against Southampton, out of position, playing striker could be a good option. So that's why I've gone for Rashford there. Murphy, this guy just has some insane connection with Isak at this moment. Now we don't know what the news with Anthony Gordon will be like. He could be a nice differential. But Murphy also does enable and gives me a bit of budget and leeway to get like 2 expensive goalkeepers as well. Now, I did have Eze, but when you look at the stats and when you watch Crystal Palace, Ismail Sarr just plays like a second striker, guys. He's just like a second striker. Like it's just crazy. Like if you look at even the midfielders, like Ismail Sarr, last 4 game weeks, top for XGI, top for non-penalties, shots on target, he's third. Shots inside the box, he is 3, 4, 6th. Not too bad actually. The others are like 8. Salah is on 8, he's on 7. Chances created, the highest out of the Palace lads. Some of the others are like your top like Liverpool players, or Bruno Fernandes, or like Bournemouth lads. In terms of bonus points, he isn't as he's there actually 12 points, but not as compared to the others. In terms of big chances created as well, he's up there. I mean, the stats favor him, the eye test favors him. I feel like he when Palace get their doubles, it's against harder opponents as well, which should favor him as well, because on the counter transition, he's the one most likely, like I said, second striker, almost like a second striker at this point. So I initially had Eze, but then after even just watching the Palace game, I was like, yeah, I'll just go to Ismail Sarr. Now, I did consider both an Eze plus Sarr instead of Mateta, but trying to figure out a good third striker is not as easy, especially like if you're chasing rank. You want as many double game week players as possible as well. If I go a third striker, it's going to be a striker who doesn't have a double game week. And because of that, I was like, yeah, let me just go Mateta. I can get a midfield, at least 4, except for Salah, who will all be doubling. So might as well just go Mateta because that. Now, he did get subbed in the 59th minute in terms of the last game, but he did have a few chances. Not like he didn't have. I watched like the extended highlights of the game as well. He did have a couple chances. I think the early sub is most likely because he's just coming back from injury as well, and back-to-back games he's been playing. Probably they're trying to ease him in. Marmoush and Isak are my other 2, and that's basically the template in the front line. Like there isn't like, if Haaland was fit, maybe he'll cause a disruption of the template as well. But right now it's a bit hard, and I think everyone's going to swap Isak to Watkins come game week 33, which is what I've also planned. So yeah, this is how 33 would look like. 32 will have a full set of players as well. I just need to monitor Trippier and Isak's minutes. Free hitting 34 is the plan. Triple captaincy, I'm looking to save it for 36. This is how 36 would look like if all the bookies odds in terms of the FA Cup. If Villa won the semi and City won the semi, this is how 36 would look like. If Forest beat City, I still don't mind keeping City players because their single game week fixture is against Southampton in 36. So if Forest were to beat City as well, it's fine. I'll just bring in the Forest players. At that time, I'll switch Kivio to a Forest defender, and I'll maybe, if I need to, I'll remove Saka if it has to be. Try and get like Elanga in for the double game week. But yeah, that's kind of where my thinking is at the moment. If Forest win, I'm completely fine as well. The only thing I'm worried is hopefully Ederson doesn't lose his spot. He does tend to get a few bench ins here and there, so hopefully that doesn't happen. If City go through and Villa go through, I could get some Bournemouth lads, but it's not really necessary. And if I didn't, and I went to 37, the team would look like this. I just have to remove Rashford and Watkins. Rashford obviously will blank, and he's also 38. He'll be ineligible to play against Manchester United, so might as well remove Watkins also because it's a tough game in 38. They might also have completed the season, might be focusing on Europe if they're still in the finals of the Champions League. You never know. Depends on the situation. But I'll just like target some good players, differentials, 37, 3 free transfers as well at that point. So, but it's a bit too early to plan until then. Things could happen, injuries, as you saw from game week 30 itself. So yeah, this is basically what I've got so far. Let me know in the comments what you think. We'll have a live stream tomorrow at 9:30 p.m. Sydney time. to discuss wildcards and obviously look ahead to game week 31. So make sure you join me for that. And if you've watched up to this point, make sure you hit the like button, hit the subscribe button as well. We're closing in on 1K subscribers. We're 19 away. So make sure to hit that like and subscribe. Thank you very much.